Hey, today I want to talk about what do we do when we see an injustice in the world as a spiritual person? And I'm going to be speaking from the framework of I Am That, which is a book and a philosophy by Nisargadatta, or a similar philosophy would be A Course in Miracles, where there's this idea that reality is this illusion. It's an outpicturing of what's happening inside of us. And therefore, when we see injustice, we have to grapple with whether we handle that injustice through external physical action or through healing it within us. And I'm going to talk out loud and try to figure this out for myself right now. But really, I think that it's likely in the middle of those two things, because if everything is an outpicturing of what's happening in my nervous system, what I'm emotionally and mentally projecting, then step one is always be the change that you want to see. So if I see an injustice in the world, do I immediately go and gossip about it? Which is what I just did when I just saw an injustice, and that's where this video was inspired from, because after gossiping about the injustice and basically complaining about it, I realized that the reason that I was gossiping and complaining is because, one, I was angry at the injustice, but underneath that anger was fear. Anger is a masking emotion that's always pointing to an underlying fear or grief. And what A Course in Miracles teaches us is that fear is actually a misperception where we are unable to identify the creative solution that is available to us in that moment. Fear is always us not being up to speed with the fact that all creative solution is available to us. The perfect blueprint of reality, the miracle already exists. And so the way that miracle manifests for us is through our decision space, what we have access to think and choose, and how we enact that. And so when I see an injustice in the world, attacking that injustice just forces more attack, because it's like when you're attacking a mirror, you're just attacking yourself. And so first, what I need to do is feel through my big feelings about the anger and fear and grief that I have, the upset that I have about the injustice. And the reason that I do that is because it tunes me to a higher level frequency that then opens up my decision space to see where I can be a creative activator. God puts on our heart impulses, and they're creative impulses, they're inspired actions. And the action that we can take in this physical world, the seeming illusion that is physical reality, we can act from fear, which is a reactive response, or we can get very quiet with ourselves and tune into the higher creative solution that's available to us. And oftentimes, if we can find this creative path that fear is showing us exists, just the energy of fear, the energy of anger showcases that there's already a creative solution. There's already a way for us to become the hero of our movie, to enact that creative solution in a way that is not only satisfying to ourselves, but satisfying to those who are suffering the so-called injustice. And this is how we get to stand up and become the main character of our movie. We have to have that main character energy, and that main character energy is us being in concert with God, the larger consciousness system, the perfect blueprint that's available, and recognizing that we must first handle things at that creative layer, because all of physical reality is rendered from that creative layer. And so what that looks like is first feeling through all of our projections, which is the fear, anger, the masking emotions, and getting back to a balance point. From that balance point, we ask or we pray, how can I be of value in this situation? What is the creative solution that I can birth into this illusion, into this world? And that strikes us, maybe not in the exact moment that we're praying, but it strikes us over the course of the next few days as a creative impulse, as a great idea. But we are going to lose the frequency of the highest solution available if we're gossiping, if we're complaining. There's a place for that. If you have a trusted friend, if you have a therapist or a coach, if you use your journal to kind of get those projections out of you so that you can actually have a deeper awareness of them, that's totally fine. But at some point, you have to decide that, okay, I know what my projections are now. I know how I'm misperceiving. So how do I actually want to perceive? Well, you look at the injustice. The injustice is usually showcasing to you that you're perceiving someone to be a victim. And in that victimhood, what you're desiring for is the people that you think are victims, you would like them to have a better experience. And maybe you feel like the victim. And so what you're longing for is for yourself to have a better experience. And so where we can use the focus of our mental faculties is we can pivot towards what would the ideal situation look like. And if we can raise our energy to that ideal situation, feel through any feelings of embarrassment or doubt. It's so easy to be cynical and jaded when you start to think about an ideal solution, because immediately what's going to come up is all of your misperceptions and your misperceiving about the biases that you have, because it's really easy to want revenge or to punish the people that you see as causing the injustice. And maybe that happens naturally by enacting a higher creative solution, but it isn't our job to judge and punish people. That is reality's job. That's the larger consciousness system's job. That's God's job through the law of attraction and the law of karma and the law of compensation. All of these things will eventually force reality to catch up with the perpetrators of any so-called victimhood or them causing undue distress to the world around them. And so our job is not to be the deliverer of judgment. Rather, it's to see the creative solution. We are the artist of our reality. And so we visualize with as much clarity as we can what the ideal solution is until we can start to feel that ideal solution in our belly, in our nervous system. And the longer that we can hold the sensation of that ideal template, the more that God, the largest consciousness system, will put on our hearts the exact actions that will allow us to be joyously valuable to the situation. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'm looking to connect with people that want to govern their reality from this spiritual level, from the balcony, from the 100,000-foot perspective, where we're working with the energy first and only taking physical action as it feels inspired. If that's you, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, introduce yourself in the comments. I want to meet you, and I want us to build a community of people who are magnificent creators of reality by understanding this deeper spiritual and philosophical level where our internal emotions and thoughts are being outpictured into the world. And so when we see an injustice, it's not our job to immediately try to right what we perceive as a wrong, but to recognize that everything is happening in perfect karmic order. Everyone is getting the experiences that are tuned to their particular nervous system. We can help people release those feelings of victimhood so that they don't continue to attract things like that. And we can usher in creative solution that creates new bandwagons so that people can come together and thrive in community rather than reality being a player versus player system. Let me know what you think. We'll see you in the next one. I appreciate you watching all the way through. Bye.